Today we are at, yeah, it's very obvious where we are. Eagle Machine, open house, having a great time. I found my buddy Mike, I haven't seen in a little while. I was like, dude, we gotta hop on camera. It's so good to see you again.
See you, Tony. It's been a while.
And we had a discussion. We have three wonderful YCM machines that we're gonna talk about today. We have a 3+2, 5-axis, and I believe there's a 3-axis over there. You know the details far better than I do, but I love to pick your brain. However, we had to start with service and support, because Eagle Machine was founded off of. That's how they launched themselves.
That's right.
They were a support and service company that said, you know what? We could probably do some machines along the way, right?
That's right.
And that's how they started.
That's in their DNA, right? And they've been a pillar of a YCM dealer for 20 plus years now. And again, their backbone being service and support, right? And obviously these machines are cutting metal, something's bound to break, and how fast somebody can get there and help customers, YCM customers out is everything to us. So knowing that the YCM brand is in good hands in this local Texas market means everything. Sam, Jesse, we've got a great reputation in Texas, great people. It doesn't matter how much it costs to get the customer running, but that's their motto, right? Is just get them up and running if there's an issue, right? So no, we couldn't be more thrilled with the 20-year plus history of those guys and having them start on machines from day one, and now obviously see them where they are with this beautiful facility in Houston. They've got a facility in Arlington as well, and the growth that they've been on has been awesome.
Yeah, and I'm getting to learn more and more about them, spending time with you, spending time with the brilliant people here, and I think we're going to do a couple of fun videos also along the way. But it is important to start here. We are going to grab a cigar at the end of this tour, although I'd love to smoke it along the way. We're not going to this time. So let's start with the machines. You mentioned service and support. I've had the great privilege, and I'm honored to have been to Taiwan, to spend time at the factory. I know the effort and the quality that's put into the machines. I've walked through their foundry. I see how it's done. I see how they're made. And I've seen the spindles. I've been into the spindle room. I've spent a lot of time with the Chen brothers. Amazing people. So I want to step back to what you just said about service and support and say these things are built to last. However, if you're a machinist much like myself, I like to push the limits. And occasionally I will break a machine, and that's where service and support comes into play.
That's right. Well, as you said, Tony, so reliability is everything we preach about what makes YCM unique, right? And anybody can say the word reliability, but having the machine made in a vertically integrated company like YCM with our own foundry, where we make and design our own spindles, that's where you can say you have a reliable machine in the field, because at the end of the day, a machine, they all look the same with guarding on, right? But it's the little things that keep a machine running. I was just talking to a customer here who's got 20-year-old YCMs, a lot of them, and they're still going strong. Yeah, we have belts or something that may break here and there, and that's where a reliable dealer such as Eagle Machine being there and drop of a hat makes a big difference. But at the end of the day, we don't call these throwaway machines. These are machines that are meant to last, right? But it's the little detail of hand scraping that makes them last. Great controls, right, from Fanuc, great servos, great drives. The things that we don't make ourselves, we're buying from the top suppliers in the world, between Japanese ball screws and guideways. Those are the things that are going to make a machine tool last for years to come.
I think you and I may have talked to the same customer, but to be fair, I did talk to 3 or 4 customers with similar stories of machines that have been around because of working with Eagle and been around for 20 plus years. And they're still running. They've never really had any major breakdowns. The spindles are strong. They've actually thrown out other machines that in the middle didn't last, and they're replacing them with new YCM machines. So we're looking specifically at the JC10 here. I see a very obvious bright yellow +2 table there, rotary table. Would you mind describing a little bit more about this machine, and then we'll move on to the other 2 machines we have here.
So the JC10 is our bread and butter, our best-selling machine. Well, I guess you could say was our best-selling machine. Now a lot of customers are evolving into the 5-axis world, and our CX series is quickly becoming our best-selling. But the JC10, 40 by 20, J standing for job shop, C standing for C-frame. So really what we're talking about is a very versatile general size, general materials. Best bang for your buck is the JC series, JC10. And it goes up from, or starts at a small JC6 from 22 inch to over 60 inch in X. So this is our bread and butter foundational series. Again, a loaded control. We call our controls the MXP just because we've got YCM software in there, but it's based on the FANUC 0i Plus, the software being YCM's exclusive i Operation Plus, which is additional user-friendly features. So if you don't need, you're not doing too crazy tight tolerances, your general job shop, this machine all day long.
Good description. However, I like that you said used to be the bread and butter number one sold machine, because we do need to move to the 5-axis world. And I can appreciate that you said that out loud, because we want the audience to understand that also. And as much as I love a 3-axis machine or a 3+2, this is the modern solution. I mean, we're talking about, and I say it a lot, but I'm going to say it again. We talk about robots and cobots and pallet change and bar feed, all these automation, digitalization, all of these things that are, I would say, required now, not just desired, but required to live in a modern machine shop and be able to bid at a global economy, as we're reshoring a ton right now. You and I have seen that a lot. So 5-axis world is necessary now.
Absolutely. And the customer, I think we were talking about, his main role is getting his company to evolve into the future, right? They're all 3-axis right now. We talk specifically about this machine and some of the other machines we offer, but what does that mean for him? Why would a company want to do that? So he can quote to his customers a much lower price point, because his company is that much more efficient, right? They're not doing 5 setups over here. They're doing 1, 2 ops here at max, right? I mean, you could do one and done here. And so that's the world we've gone into, which is 5-axis becoming the norm. I remember, 5-8 years ago, 5-axis had some scary vibes to it, right? What am I doing? A lot of uncomfortability with the market. To me, at YCM, we're seeing those days gone, right? There's a lot of comfortability, familiarity with how to program 5-axis. Also with the builder's help, we can train, Eagle Machine will train. So the learning curve is gone, right? There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. It's like just jump in the water. It's nice and warm. So the CF4, the CX is really our best selling series. The F being a 5-face or 4+1, and then we have the X, the CX4, which is a full simultaneous machine. So the only difference, literally, the machines are identical. The only difference is the control, right? So one control can do 4-axis simultaneous, the other does 5-axis simultaneous. So this one is a 4+1 version. Why would you want one versus the other? Maybe you're in a price point budget, you want to stay in a certain budget. The 4+1 would be much cheaper, much more cost effective, I should say. And maybe you don't need to do full 5-axis contouring, and not a lot of people do, by the way. When you're talking 5-axis, we hear the majority of parts out there are not simultaneous contouring where you've got to have it, but knowing you have it is like this safety net, right? So we actually stock a lot more simultaneous machines than we do the 4+1 varietal, because you never know when that part's going to come in that you may need it, right? But this particular machine is 12,000 RPM, 30 horse, 40 tools, and then what we're getting into now, Tony, is a lot of automation. So we're coming out with some automation products that you're just going to pop an automation piece to it, and you're truly lights out machining, right? So that's the way of the future, right? That's the way you're going to evolve your company and take that company to the next level. Whereas, you're getting out of the 5 setup world. You're just truly lights out machining at that point.
We're going to step over to the 3-axis machine in just a second, but I want to bring up a topic with you, Mike, because we're here in Texas. We're at Eagle Machine, and I was having a conversation with some of the folks that are here, as well as the managers, the sales guys, the technicians, and the story I was told is that here in Texas, and I found some similarities in other parts of the country, but every state seems to have its own personality, right?
Yeah.
Here in Texas, I was told they will run machines until they die. So the 3-axis machines that they bought 20 years ago, if they're not dead, they're not going to buy the new machine yet. Yeah. They're not they know that 5-axis is, as you say, the future, and I say the now, or even a few years ago at this point, but they're not buying it until their machines are dead. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, how can I convey a message to people watching out there, whether you're in Texas or outside of Texas, to say, look, I get it. You want to run the machines, they're paid off. I don't like having payments on my car. I love a car that's paid off. But at the same time, when you can get parts out faster, when you can save real estate space, when you can save electricity, when you're doing done-in-ones and you're able to quote prices that get more jobs in, maybe it's worth considering getting rid of some of those machines that can't do the multitasking and bring in some of the 5-axis work, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, the customer we were talking about, we were talking about the resale value of a YCM, right? And he has a lot of them. So YCMs, first of all, they don't come on the market a lot. And when they do, they typically hold a really good value. But so we were throwing out the idea of putting that machine on what we call this the used market, right? So still run your parts, but get offers on that machine. So you know at some point when that one sells, you bring in the new one, right? So you're not down, you're not without it. You know, you're planning accordingly, right? But yeah, I mean, the idea is this particular company wanted to grow. They wanted to take their company to the next level. And we all do. We all want growth, but we have to take the risks to do it, right? And if you don't take the risk, if you don't step outside your comfort zone, you know, everything stays the same. So that's where a company like YCM can help you. Again, partner with training, service and support, you know, you name it, we're here to help.
They say that, let's step over here, Mike. They say that a comfort zone is a beautiful place to live, but nothing grows there. That's what they say all the time. All right, this one, I see a huge hunk of metal in there. Looks like some carbon steel. Looks like they have probably a 3/4 inch diameter insert cutting tool in there, plowing through some material. But to be fair, it's a 3-axis machine. So I think what they're showing is hard milling, hard cutting, rigidity. That's what we're showing here?
That's right. So that's the great thing about the JC series. Again, best bang for your buck. You can do hard metals, you can do aluminums, obviously, but you don't have to pay crazy prices for it. So JC6 22 by 16 inch travels. I don't know this particular setup itself, but you know, some people think that you've got to spend crazy amounts of money to be able to do harder materials. We've got customers actually cutting Inconel, I've heard, on a general job shop style machine. And again, that just tells you the quality behind it, that a machine is able to handle that. Again, the question is the how, and the how is the factory and the quality and everything they do on their side. So
yeah, well said. I think that closes it out.
Okay.
We promised each other under 15 minutes, but I don't think we made it under 15 minutes.
Almost.
If you have any questions, ideas, thoughts, concerns, worries, leave it in the comments. Mike is happy to answer. Everyone else at the YCM Alliance is happy to answer as well. This is something that's becoming more upfront and open to have conversations about technology that allows us to do more within our facilities. But Mike and I are going to go have a cigar now. We're going to head back to where we started, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.